Welcome back, everyone. This is a little project for my son on his Honda that he's done some performance work on, including turbocharging. This is the cam gear that got buggered up, and I'm just trying to save him a little bit of money having to buy a new cam gear. This is obviously an aftermarket performance part. You can see what happened to the boss that rides against the cam. This particular gear uses what I think is a poor location key. In place of a square keyway, they put a pin. You can see it right there. The problem with this, I can show on my artist's rendering, that would be a traditional keyway. Now the shaft, the cam, is cut for a traditional square key, but this performance cam gear, performance with air quotes, uses a pin in place of the square keyway. This is not a good way to do this, but this is what I'm dealing with. So I've got the face dialed in, and yes, you can see that the bore is non-concentric. I'm not worried about that. I'm not touching the bore. You can actually see that the anodizing is still good on the bore. It was just the face that got buggered up. And that was because of that pin instead of using a traditional key. If I had the correct key, this would be a metric. If I had the correct keyway broach and he had the time, this would no longer be a pin. We would make this correct, but as it is, we're using what we have to work with. And this is his backup vehicle, and he does a lot of off-roading every weekend, and so having a backup vehicle is a pretty important thing. So we're just going to get him back on the road and see if I can just true this up for him and get him back running. I think I can take off, I looked at it, I think I can take off maybe, 7/10 thousandths off the face, and there should be sufficient clearance that nothing interferes when it's installed. If I need to make a shim for it, I can do that, but I don't think I'll have to. So there's just a truing cut. Go in here with a little blue Sharpie and make sure that I clean that whole face off. And of course, my camera won't maintain focus, so I'll fast forward through all this. Sorry about this. Don't buy a Nikon for videos. Okay, so I think I've got it cleaned up here. Check it, and it checks out fine. Can't see it, but it is. And then, just for the purpose of practicing with my new xTool P2 CO2 laser, I'm going to put my own logo on this. This is how they did their timing marks and their logos. And right this second, because this machine is new to me, I am using any excuse I can to practice with it. So the reason I bought this laser was to be able to do my own marking and engraving and cutting in-house on some of the products that I make. This is actually my first cut. That squiggly line there was my first cut with this laser. I've only had this a couple of weeks. And the second one there, my logo, and then some of the text that I actually need to engrave onto this particular tool that I manufacture. And so I'm just doing some tests, to kind of help out with prototypes and so forth. I'll throw up a couple of pictures of this. This is a new tool that I've been developing for tensioning aircraft control cables. And then I also want to be able to cut out my own Pelican case inserts or protection cases, whatever. And that's the purpose of buying this machine. And this is an entry level laser. This is nothing for doing heavy duty work. This is just marking my own products without having to send them out. I've been working with laser companies for 30 plus years, and I will continue to. This is just doing my own in-house work when I need to. And there's the mark on the red anodized cable tensioner, and that was successful. And then this is just sort of how this tool is configured. I'll be making a video of this coming up for my customers that want to see how they are used. So back to the cam gear. So I've cut all the, of course, anodizing off of this gear, and I want to at least allodyne it. I don't have the ability to do in-house anodizing here, but I do allodyne all the time. So I've got 3 droppers, and it's hard to see, but this gear is actually sitting on top of like a Dixie cup. This is the aluminum prep, which is phosphoric acid and water, distilled water. Some guys will eliminate the step on a fresh cut like this. I don't. Aluminum oxidizes basically right behind the tool bit. It begins to oxidize immediately, and so this little bit of acid treatment just chemically removes that oxide layer and prepares the aluminum for the best possible allodyne surface. So I'll give this a few minutes with a little bit of agitation and adding fresh material. Guess I had to wind my stopwatch. Naturally, I'm using a separate dropper for each chemical to avoid any cross-contamination. I'll add some new chemical. Prepare the other droppers. It's just a matter of flooding with water after the acid etching or acid preparation. Prepare the allodyne. And the idea is to not let it dry out between the coats. I'm going to give it a little bit of a shot of air just so that the allodyne isn't diluted more than it needs to be in this situation. And then just as quickly as I possibly can, get it on there. And that's fine. Again, just a little agitation and add new allodyne. Give it somewhere around maybe 5 minutes on this. Fast forward through as fast as I can. Now regarding this xTool laser machine, I don't do tool reviews, and I'm not going to do one on this either. There are millions of them out there, and they are accurate. But let me just add my 2 cents here that the packing on this machine was absolutely bulletproof and flawless. They could have dropped this thing, and it's not a light machine. They could have dropped this off a building and it would have remained intact. And every accessory that came in was the same way. So kudos to xTool for their just incredible packing job. And so we'll see how things go in the future. But right now, I'm happy with it. I'm going to just add a little bit of retention compound onto this pin. I've driven it out just a little bit farther than stock to get somewhat greater purchase on that keyway, such as it is. This is a horrible design. There's no excuse for a design like this. I'm sorry, but whoever this company is, True Line or something, this was a mistake. All right, so that's plenty, maybe a little bit too much. But the point is, this should get my son back up running again. And in fact, he did install it and did confirm to me that there was sufficient clearance and there wasn't any problem with that. So that's it. A short video of just something that comes through the shop during the week. A little personal project here, but they're all good. So thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.